Hey friends, welcome back to the Amber May Show. I am so glad that you are here joining me. Today is Jim Tewalt of EPS Wealth Management, and we're diving in on how we can be our own banker. Now, there's all kinds of financial tools, and we don't always know all the ways that we can use a financial tool. So today we're going to dive in. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could be your own banker, where you're not going to get credit checks, you're not going to get denied credit, and the loan payment is super flexible, like so flexible, and there's no tax penalties. So if a lot of times people get into their retirement account before 59 and a half, they get charged with the taxes and penalties. We want to show you how you can be your own banker, and that's on today's episode. So please like, share, and subscribe. Join us on Telegram. We always add more content to Telegram, so join us there at The Amber May Show, or you can find me at True Social Amber May or Frank Social Amber May. I'm also on Clout Hub, and you can find me there. If you believe in what I'm doing and would like to be a part and be an angel investor into the program, the best way to do that is going to theambermayshow.com. Hit the donate button and donate whatever you feel you can donate, or you can become a $5 monthly subscriber by going to theambermayshow.locals.com. So coming up, we're next right here, we're going to talk to Jim Tewalt of EPS Wealth Management about how you can be your own banker. Well, I am so excited. We have Jim Tewalt back. He's with EPS Wealth Management, and I cannot wait to dive into what we're going to learn today to help build our wealth, to learn how to manage our money. Welcome, Jim, to the program. So excited to have you.
Well, very excited to be here, Amber. And now that the technology is working for us, it should be a good show.
It's going to be a great show. It's always good having you here. So what do you have in store for us today?
All right. Well, we're going to talk about a concept that's been around for a long time. It's actually the real name for it is called infinite banking, but basically most people know it by the term "be your own banker."
Wonderful. This is great. This is great. I like this because in light of everything that's been happening with the banking system, I love this idea. I can't wait till you teach us more about it.
So, Amber, when have you ever had and I know your husband's a pretty handy guy, but have you ever had like a handyman come to the house and do work for you?
I have, definitely have.
Well, when they come in, we've had handymen come to our house very frequently because I am absolutely disastrous when it comes to working with those kinds of tools. Give me a financial tool, and I'm very much at ease and at home. But give me, a plumb line, screwdriver, hammer, plane, those kinds of things, and I will quickly hand them off to somebody that actually knows what they're doing with them. So, but if you've ever had a handyman come to the house, most of them have a tool belt that they wear. And if you looked at the tool belt, but the only thing that was on the tool belt was a hammer, would you feel comfortable with that person doing jobs around your house?
Absolutely not.
Maybe some jobs, but obviously you wouldn't want them to tackle like your cabinetry and that sort of thing, nice things in the kitchen. So, and it's no different in the financial services industry. What we have in the industry in many times, or many cases, is we have financial advisors. They're like financial handymen, and they come in and they have a tool. They have a tool belt that they're wearing, but there's one tool on the belt, and we could call it a hammer. It's obviously different things. It could be investments, it could be insurances, it could be whatever their particular tool is that they like to use. What we try to do because I'm a certified financial planner, and because as a certified financial planner, I've taken an oath to act as a fiduciary, which means I always have to put the customer's needs first. We have a variety of financial tools in the toolkit, and we try to use the ones that seem most appropriate for the job at hand.
Mm-hmm.
So the question that sometimes we ask clients is, what tools are in your financial tool belt? In a lot of cases, it depends on who their financial advisor is and what kind of financial tools that particular person would like to use. I think financial planning is kind of a science. There's certain things that we all do in the process of financial planning, but when it comes to implementation, that's more of an art. And everybody has their own tools that they feel comfortable using. For me, I've worked with a lot of tools over the years, so I like to use tools that seem appropriate for what the client is trying to accomplish.
And what I like about having someone who is an expert in this field is we don't know how to use all the tools in the financial world. Like just the lay person, we know a savings account, we understand that there's a retirement account, we know there's life insurance, we know there's annuities, we know all these things, right? But it doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean that we know how to use them well, or all the different ways that we can use the tools. So working with someone who's in a financial planning office is a great way of increasing your wealth, increasing your knowledge on finances, letting your money not control you, but you control your money. So I think it's so important to work with an expert. And if people, after we go through this, be your own banker, because I'm so intrigued by this. If people want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you during after this presentation, after the show's over?
Well, we have a website. It's iloveeps.com, or EPS Wealth Management will get you there. Or you can call our office. Our office phone number is 623-537-3657. And we're working on a calendar system where you can actually go on the calendar system and set your own time to meet if you would like to meet with us. And some people may want to do that after we go through this presentation.
And just so people know, you can leave your wallet at home. The first meeting's absolutely free. We're not asking you to bring your checkbook. It's just a good time for you to get to know Jim Tewalt and him to get to know you and see what he can help you with, or, if it's a good fit. So just to throw that out there, some people get nervous.
Well, that's absolutely right. In fact, we ask people if they have financial concerns or if they've got questions, bring them along, and we like to try to address those concerns or answer those questions in the first meeting. You didn't even pay us, but you're asking questions, and we're trying to provide answers. And obviously, if those questions require answers where we have to know more about your situation, I'm going to tell you up front, I need to know more about your particular circumstances before I try to answer that question. But there are general questions that people often ask, like how does an IRA work, or what's the difference between a Roth IRA and a regular IRA? Those kinds of questions we are happy to answer. And we ask people to bring in their financial paperwork if they would like to do that. I had a gentleman do that one time. He brought in like a shoebox full of papers. And by the time we were done with the meeting, he had asked a lot of questions. And by the time we were done with the meeting, he reminded me that we had not looked into the shoebox at his paperwork. So we scheduled another no obligation, no cost consultation with him to actually dive into his shoebox full of paperwork and go through that paperwork with him. So we're here to serve you, and we've got some great ideas on how to get things done. And I think when people see them, and then see how they fit their particular circumstances, they get pretty excited and they like to get on board and work with us. But we're perfectly willing to invest the time. If you'll invest in an hour of your time to come in and talk about your finances, we are happy to invest our time to help you.
And I think this topic is so important with the times that we're living in. So help us understand how we can be our own banker. I think that really sparks a lot of interest in people, because if I could be my own banker, sign me up, please.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about this a little bit. So I got a little bit of an agenda here. And the agenda is, number one, to acquaint our audience with the term infinite banking, or be your own banker, explain briefly how it works, and why it can be a wonderful planning tool for the right person, and how some famous personalities use this tool. You'll be surprised at a couple of the names that actually use this approach over the years. So we'll see if we can accomplish those three things.
Cool. Very good.
Whoop. Hey, the program got away from me here. Let's see if we can reel it back in. Here we go. So what is infinite banking? Well, infinite banking is really, and I'd like to try to stay as clear as possible here, but it's kind of a method of deploying or positioning a portion of your money in a specially designed financial strategy to perform multiple tasks. Now that sounds like gobbledygook, but basically when a financial planner talks to you, one of the things that we all say, is to have some money in a liquid fund that you can get at to pay your monthly bills, and also some money in a buffer and emergency fund, so that if the Maytag breaks down or your automobile breaks down or some kind of an emergency strikes the family where you need some money unexpectedly, you've got a fund there to use, to be ready for those kinds of situations. So infinite banking is just basically a method of setting those funds aside in a place where you could get at them quickly and easily when that kind of a situation comes up, whether it's to pay for family emergencies, make major purchases such as a new car, new boat, new camper. When people buy those kinds of things, oftentimes they run out to the bank and take a loan. They'll put a small down payment down, but how would you like to have your own bank, the Tewalt family bank, let's say, where you can go in and you can make your own major purchases from money in your own bank and pay yourself the interest. So,
and what I'm liking this so far is with everything going on in the financial world, what I really like about this is you can use your own money and no one's going to deny you the ability to purchase those things if you have that money available within
absolutely.
And no credit checks. And it's so great because it's so freeing. If you can use this to your advantage, it's a very freeing tool that a lot of people don't know about. Hey, I'm going to get to that thought in just a second, but right now I'm going to take a quick break.
We are here to defend democracy for the people.
Hey everybody, this is Kash Patel and you're watching The Amber May Show.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
You are listening to The Amber May Show, and now we return to the show already in progress.
And, this is, you can use it as a source of money for, strategic investments. Sometimes something comes along like your Aunt Hattie decides to sell her cabin on the river up in whatever part of Strawberry, let's say. I'm not sure there's a river in Strawberry, but there probably is, and there's probably a cabin on it somewhere. But let's say Aunt Hattie, decides she wants to sell the cabin, and you want to have some money to get involved. So, and by the way, this is a source of tax-free money. And
Even
what
better.
we see, yeah, it's even better. So, and of course, when you take money out of the bank, it's generally it's tax-free. But sometimes with when people have to get at money to pay for emergencies, it's not uncommon for them. In fact, we just had a situation here recently where someone had to break into their IRA to for money that they needed for the family, which in their case, since they were under age 59 and a half, they're going to pay a 10% premature tax to the IRS, plus that distribution is going to get taxed as ordinary income. And as I said to the person, it's probably going to cost you about 20%. You're going to have to share about 20% of your distribution with your Uncle Sam in order to make this happen. So, but if you're in a situation where you just have to have the money, you have to do it. So much better to be in a place where you do not have to do it in that way, in that manner. So the question is, which bank offers this program? Well, very honestly, no bank does. Not this particular program. So you do not conduct infinite banking at your bank or credit union. You use a specially designed cash value life insurance policy. That's the financial tool of choice. That's the thing that actually makes this thing hum and work well. So to give you a little bit of background on this, and by the way, when I say a specially designed cash value life insurance policy, that does not mean you can just go out and buy a cash value life insurance policy and expect that this strategy is going to work well for you. Because if that policy is not designed to work this strategy, you probably are going to get frustrated. The word scam might come to your lips. You're going to be very, very unhappy because you're using a financial tool that's not designed to do what you want it to do. So it's like you using a sledgehammer to open up your computer cabinet that requires a very small screwdriver.
Right.
So
well, you hit the nail on the head. See, this is a financial tool like we opened up the show. People aren't going to realize you can use it this way. When people think life insurance, they only think of a death benefit and that's it. But if you work with a financial planner, a fiduciary licensed financial planner, he or she can show you the tools, and hopefully you're going to work with Jim Tewalt. He's a man I trust very much. He's been in the business a long time. He's going to take you through the different tools and the different ways you can use it. So this is probably an idea that you didn't know you could do with a life insurance policy. But
absolutely,
like you said, it has to be done in the right manner. So that's why working with an expert is so important, because you don't know what you don't know, but people in that industry know the different strategies and tools.
Some very wealthy families have used life insurance for years. But if you talk to most people about life insurance, you will hear terms like it's a gamble. You just, it's a wager. It's like going to Vegas. Well, it is for, if you don't buy life insurance, you're the one that's actually doing the gambling, because for the insurance companies, it's a business. They have been keeping financial records for hundreds of years. They know in any given age group how many people are going to die in any given year. They can't tell you if it's going to be you or me, but they know how many, and it is their business, and it's not a gamble for them at all. And secondarily, insurance is a financial tool. Used incorrectly, it makes people mad. And if you buy it from someone that doesn't know how to use it, that can be very, very frustrating. So just to give you a little bit of background here, a little education, when I got in the life insurance business, I started with a company that was a stock company. And stock companies are owned by stockholders, and all the profits of the company go to the stockholders. When I got started, I thought that the only insurance companies out there were stock insurance companies. And I was told by my boss, and we had rate books at that time. We did not have computers. We won't go into that, though. But I was told that everybody's rates were pretty much the same. Imagine my shock when I ran into a mutual company. Now, mutual companies are actually owned by the policyholders. Those policyholders get to share in the profits of the mutual companies by participating in annual dividends. And annual dividends are basically, they're considered an overcharge of premium, which is why when they're paid, they're not taxable. And they're not guaranteed by the insurance company, but very strong mutual companies have been paying dividends for every year without a miss for, in many cases, over 150 years. They're pretty solid. And those dividends often rise with prevailing interest rates. I remember back when interest rates started to go up in the 70s, and the government got pretty upset with life insurance companies because those companies were, the interest on those policies was only 5%. And if you recall at that time, interest rates were heading into double digits. The life insurance companies were accused of dastardly things, taking advantage of the public, blah, blah, blah. And so, well, when interest rates came back down, 5% started looking pretty dang good. So, but those policies, the dividends of those policies often rise with prevailing interest rates. It's one of the ways that the insurance company was able to keep pace in an increasing interest rate economy with a policy that was designed to pay a guaranteed interest rate for your lifetime. So the other thing that happens is that these companies have what they call underwriting profits. In other words, if they make assumptions on how many people are going to die, or if they have other lines of insurance that they write, such as auto insurance or home insurance or business insurance, and they make profits from those other lines, that can contribute to your dividend as well, which is why whole life insurance may even outperform during areas of low interest rates because they have those contractually guaranteed interest rates inside the policy. And they used to be 5%. Now they're about 2 to 3%. But, you know, again, when interest rates were headed up, 5% was, people snubbed their nose at that. And then when interest rates went back down, people would have almost died to get a 5% interest rate that looked pretty doggone good.
Well, even in today's money, I mean, for the longest time at the bank, you weren't even getting 1%. So
well, then, yeah, and 5% in a interest rate economy where interest rates are almost nothing, 5% is pretty good. And 5% when you consider the fact that it grows income tax free inside of that policy. And this slide is going to talk about that in a moment here. When those companies pay dividends and when you elect to reinvest those higher dividends back into your policy, and that's done with a feature called buying what's called paid up additions. It's just using your dividends to buy additional bits of insurance every year. It's like reinvesting dividends. If you invest in dividend paying stocks and you use those dividends to reinvest and buy more shares of stock, which is a great strategy that a lot of people use. But we're doing it here with your life insurance policy. And that's just adding to the amount of insurance that you have in place, but it's also increasing your future dividends. So I've read that projections for infinite banking policies show at this time anticipated long-term internal interest rates growth of 4 to 5%. And since your cash value accumulates income tax-free, that equivalent yield could be 5 to 10%, depending on your income tax bracket. So this is nothing to be sneezed at or to snub your nose or turn your nose at. This is a legitimate place to put your money in a safe place and earn a very reasonable rate of interest on it. And if that was the only benefit, that would be a great benefit. Mm-hmm. But we can do so much more. So, but when I use the term or when people say Well, life insurance, I've heard that life insurance is a bad investment. And, there's an element of truth to that. But when we're talking about life insurance, the regulators do not even want us to use the term investment. If you're putting money into a life insurance policy, you're not investing money into it. You are paying a premium. And that's the kind of language the regulators want us to use. Otherwise, we're being deceptive, and we do not want to be deceptive. This concept can stand on its own merits. We don't have to be deceptive in the way that we market it. We can be very honest in the way that we communicate it. And for the right person in the right circumstances, this is a great financial tool. So we don't have to embellish it to make it sound better than it is. So we're talking about using specific financial tools in your financial toolbox to accomplish a specific financial purpose in your financial plan. And that specific financial purpose in this case is to put you in a position where you can borrow money when you need to borrow money, or get at money when you need to get at money, to borrow it, to get it income tax free. And when you pay it back and you pay interest as you pay it back, you pay that interest not to the bank, you pay that interest into your own policy, and that interest benefits you. So let's move on here. So what facts make infinite banking possible? Well, first of all, cash in a whole life insurance policy earns interest. And we've talked about that a little bit over the years. Used to be a 5% guarantee. Now in most new policies, the guarantee is usually around 3%. And cash in a whole life insurance policy grows income tax free. Not to compare life insurance with a Roth IRA, but a Roth IRA, most people understand that when you put money into a Roth IRA, you don't get a tax break up front.
Right.
But the interest in, or whatever the earnings are in the investment inside of your Roth IRA, grow tax free, and they can come out income tax free in the future.
Yep.
And that concept, if there is a comparison to be made, that comparison can be made with the whole life insurance policy, because the interest grows income tax free. And when you take it out, cash in a whole life insurance policy may be withdrawn as a loan. And I think everybody pretty much knows that when you borrow money, you don't have to pay taxes on it, at least at this point in time. Thank God for that.
I know.
And so loans are not taxable. And life insurance benefits when you die under current tax law. In almost all situations, there's a couple of exceptions, but in almost all situations, life insurance benefits are paid income tax free. So if you use the infinite banking concept, or be your own banker concept, you can actually use a specially designed whole life insurance policy as a place where you can borrow money, pay yourself back over time. And if you play by the rules, when you pass away, the policy will pay benefits to your family income tax free.
Now let's talk about the loan aspect of it, because a lot of people, when they hear loan, they think, oh, every month I got to pay X number of dollars back. Tell me how the loan part works with the whole life policies.
Well, it depends on the policy. Again, there are some policies. And again, if you don't use a policy that's specifically designed for this type of a program, you're going to get frustrated. You're probably going to get angry, and you're going to be looking for someone to blame. But in some policies, when you borrow money from the policy, the insurance company actually charges an interest rate to do that. However, in many companies, they may charge you, for example, 6% to loan money from or take money out of the policy. They may credit 5% to the money in your policy, whether it's in the policy or not. So you've actually taken the money out. You're paying 6% interest to take the money out. But even though your money is not in the policy, it's being credited 5%, just as if it were. So your net interest charge might be 1%. So
But you
you've
don't have
got
to
to explain to you
necessarily.
a couple times because it probably sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Or in
And
some policies, there is no net interest charge.
and do you have to pay yourself back every month a certain dollar amount?
Well, you don't have to pay yourself back, but like anything else, any good thing used according to the rules is a good thing. When you push things to the point where they're not designed to be pushed, they can backfire on you. So you have to know the rules, got to play by the rules, and you may want to pay your money back because when you pay your money back into the policy, it's going to earn interest. It's going to grow. You can build more money so that in the future, if you want to take out larger sums of money for particular situations, you'll have that money there to do it.
No,
And by
I
the
agree.
way,
I think you should pay yourself back. But my question is, because when you have a traditional car loan, let's say that every month you have X number of dollars you have to pay back.
oh yeah,
With this, it's more flexible, isn't it? The loans are
it
more
is more
flexible.
flexible. That is right. You don't have a payment book or a bill coming in the mail every month that if you don't make the payment, they come and take the car back from you. That's not going to happen here. So
That's what I
yes,
was getting
it's
at.
much more flexible. Thanks for clarifying that, Amber. Appreciate it.
But yes, you do want to pay yourself back because it goes against with the cash portion that you can earn. You know, the more money in there, obviously, the more earning power you get. So that's why we definitely want to pay ourselves back. But it's a very flexible way of taking a loan out.
Absolutely. In fact, if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a little advertisement there that we slipped in that says this is an excellent tool to help your children or grandchildren prepare to face their uncertain futures. If you're a grandparent today, or even if you're a parent today, if you've lived in this country for a long period of time, one of the things you realize is that things are changing. The future is always uncertain. It was for us as we got started. It certainly is going to be for our children and grandchildren. But if you want to help your kids and you want to help them in a way where you don't just, hand them cash or hand them a check, which could go anywhere. I always thought my kids would go right to the Maserati dealership. That's the word. I heard that word on their lips a lot. So, but if you want to help your children to really be successful, this is a great tool to put in place for them, especially for the grandkids, because it gives them time to build up some money in that account that's going to earn interest, income tax free, and be available to them when they make maybe their first home purchase, or when they buy an automobile, or when they go to school. To help pay for their college education, maybe to help them get started in a business, or maybe help them to go to a trade school. Just
Pay
things
for
that
a wedding. I mean, there's so many things. I'm so glad you brought up the kids. I'm so glad you did. I love this tool for children. I absolutely love this tool for children. For one, the insurance is cheaper. Two, they qualify most likely because usually children are healthier. The longer you wait, you take a risk because the older you get, you could have health problems. The older you get, life insurance becomes more expensive. You get more insurance for less money when you have a child versus an adult. So the younger you are getting started, just like with any investment tool, is better for you in the long run. And the possibilities are infinite with this. It's not tied to the stock market like a 529 plan, because in a 529 plan, it's tied to a stock market. So if the stock market's taking a hit, so is your money in your 529 plan. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. In fact, if your child was about to start college in 2008, as an example, it could have been pretty shocking to the system, because the stock market dropped about 40%. So if your let's go to a Harvard account suddenly dropped 40% in value, that could have been a pretty harrowing experience, and you're not going to have that with this type of plan. Good points, and we're going to hit those again a little bit later in the presentation here. So, what are some benefits of infinite banking? Well, first of all, it eliminates the interest expense when borrowing. in most cases. Or if you're going to pay interest, you're going to pay it to yourself. And if I want to pay interest, I'd rather pay it to me. You can say whatever you want to say about me, but that's selfish. Yeah,
I don't care what your neighbor says about you.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for that.
You're pretty good in my book.
You can keep your financial transactions private. Now, in the banking industry, God bless them, and we've had terrorism and things in this country, so there are laws that the banking industry has to operate under, and the days of going into the bank and getting $20,000 in cash to buy a car privately, those days are probably over. I think for a lot of banks, they may not even have, I might be out of sorts when I'm saying this, but they may not have $20,000 in cash in the drawer that day. And if they did, they may not want to give it all to you. So you can keep your financial transactions more private, and you can keep your money and your interest compounding, because this is your own bank. And if, again, I'm going to just say, if you've ever looked at bank buildings or been inside of a bank home office, the terms walnut, staircases, large, very tall ceilings with very expensive woods and so forth and so on, that they're making money. And obviously you want them to make money. You want your bank to be a safe place. Today, we've had a couple of situations with banks where things got unsafe. We don't want that.
No,
we certainly do not want that. So this is a great place to have your money with companies that in some cases have been around for 150 years. The insurance industry is very tightly regulated in terms of having reserves and protecting the accounts of people that purchase insurance. And the insurance companies actually have to have the money in reserves to pay for those kinds of situations and to work together to help each other out when they occur. So moving on here. I told you up front that I was going to tell you about some very famous people. So what did James Cash Penney, and that's the guy that started Penney's store, by the way.
J.C. Penney's.
J.C. Penney's, yes. But James Cash and Ray Kroc, he started my favorite hamburger joint, which,
McDonald's?
I didn't want to say their name, but I was going to talk about Golden Arches, and everybody would kind of get the idea.
Sorry.
But yeah, we can say it. You said it now. Cat's out of the bag. McDonald's and Walt Disney. What do they have in common?
They've all started successful, huge businesses.
Yes. And where did they go to get the money? Because in some cases, I believe when I read the story of Walt Disney, he had this idea for a theme park, and it was a great, it turned out to be a pretty dang good idea. But at the time, he couldn't find anybody that was willing to go out on a limb with him and give him the money to do it.
Wow. I didn't
So
know
he borrowed money from the cash values of his life insurance policy. And that's what all three of them have in common. They were able to borrow money from the cash values in their whole life insurance policy to get the money to turn their dreams into reality. And aren't we glad that they did?
Yes, we are.
Yep. So how does this help me? First of all, no more begging at the bank for a personal loan. Have you ever gone to the bank and feel like you're the underdog? You have to prove that your credit is good.
Oh, yes.
I always felt like I was kind of begging.
Yes.
Their eyes, and
I'm on pins and needles waiting to see if they're going to approve me, even though I have good credit and everything like that. I get nervous. Like, am I going to get this loan so I can get the car or get whatever? Like, I get pins and needles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is your account. So you just call up and say, hey, I want some money, send it to me, and they will do it. Have you ever looked at bank building?
None of that. I love that. This is your money. No one's going to deny you your money.
Yep. So if you want to be like if you want to in your life, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, what kind of person this really works well for, but if you've ever looked at a bank building, you know that they're making money and you want them to make money. You don't want your money in a place that is like a house of cards and you're hoping that it doesn't fall down tomorrow. I want my money in a safe place. I want them to be doing well.
Right.
Totally. So do banks make money? Yes, they do, and they should, and I'm glad they do. Have you ever been inside of an insurance company home office? Again, they make money. So this is a good thing. If you're going to have an account like this, you're going to be kind of your own bank. I'm not saying you're going to go out and build yourself a 20-story building. That's probably not going to happen. But you're going to have an account there that's going to have money in it. It's going to be in a pretty safe place, paying at least a minimally guaranteed rate of interest. And then you're going to be in a situation where you have dividends coming in that can enhance your interest earnings over the years and do a lot of other good things for you. But the question to ask yourself is, who do you want to get your loan interest? Do you want it to go to the bank or do you want it to go to you?
I want it to go to me. Sign me up. I
Me
want it
too.
to go to me.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to hesitate and say, well, everybody that's listening is going to think I'm selfish.
No, I want it to go to me. That's why I'm coming to you.
No.
I want to build my wealth. I want to, I think there's nothing wrong with trying to be wise with the money you have and use the tools available to you.
Right. So who is best suited for this system? Because obviously, no matter how good a deal is, it may not be suitable for everybody. Now, again, if you are working with the type of financial advisor that has only one tool on their belt, if it happens to be a hammer, the old saying is, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So sometimes there might be a tendency, and I'm not going to accuse anybody here, but if it's the only tool that you have, and if you're a salesperson and you are not constrained to act as a fiduciary, obviously there are rules in this business that we all have to abide by. We cannot lie, cheat, or steal. But if you have only one financial tool on the belt and you're enthusiastic and you think it's a good tool, you're going to promote it. But sometimes it may not be the best way of accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So if you're the type of person that has big dreams, lofty goals, you want to make a difference in the world, you want to make each dollar that you have work hard for you. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to be successful, that's probably the type of person that this plan is going to work for. If your goals are more modest, if you don't mind just getting by, maybe there's better ways to do things for you than to use this type of plan. Now, who are you? Well, first of all, and you mentioned this before, Amber, picked up on it right away, by the way, younger. This works well for younger people because it's an insurance policy and the insurance company is going to charge for the insurance. And the younger you are, the cheaper the charge. And then healthy. You need to be healthy if you're going to qualify for this plan. And not living on the edge yet. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, that means that you don't go out and throw sticks of dynamite on the weekend for fun. You don't engage in motorcycle racing on a dirt track somewhere. You don't jump out of airplanes and hope the chute works. You don't go deep sea diving and do those kinds of edgy things. The insurance company likes it if you're pretty staid. They want you to be healthy. They want you to be younger. They're good with you being active and so forth, but they don't want you to be wild and crazy when they write the insurance. Now, once you have it in place, once you have your plan in place, if you want to get edgy and be wild and crazy, go for it. Because once it's in place, they can't take it away from you. It's good if you have a significant sum of money to protect and put to work. Now, what's a significant sum? Well, it's different for different people. But what we can do if you like the idea, if you want to do this, if you want to come in and talk about it, we'll actually run you some illustrations and we can see what works for you. It's got to be economically feasible. It's got to be a good thing. If it's not a good thing, you're not going to want to do it. If it's not a good thing, we're not going to want you to do it, because we are in the business of forming long-term relationships. And that happens when you treat people according to the golden rule. And that's not the golden rule where he who has the gold makes the rules. It is the other golden rule where you treat people the way you would like to be treated.
I have to ask
So-
you a question. Like, if there are people out there, do you help people that might have a lot of debt put a plan together to help them get out of debt so that they could start investing? And my second question is, if someone like is not like super in debt or anything, but doesn't have a ton of money left over, but has some like little bits here and there, is there a way that you could put a plan together where those people can also eventually get to be their own banker? Is this something that you can work with people on to get to
Sure.
this place if they're not already there?
Sure. We've never been the type of firm where you had to be earning $250,000 a year to work with us, or you have to have $500,000 of investable assets. Now, obviously, in some situations, you have to have a reasonable amount of money to get started, but we can help you get to that point. And when it comes to getting out of debt, for example, there's a certain individual that I think everybody knows. When you mention the word debt, his name pops into your brain immediately. He has a tool that he calls the debt snowball, which has been around since Noah was putting animals into the big boat, 2x2. But it's the idea of when you have debt, you pay down the smallest debt, highest interest rate debt first. You line up all your debts, and the one that has the highest interest rate and the one that has the lowest balance, you decide, okay, I'm gonna allocate $500 a month to getting rid of my debt. And that's what you do. You take the debt that has the lowest balance, highest interest rate first. You knock that one out quickly. You just kind of feather the rest of them, pay what you have to pay your minimum payment if you have a minimum payment to pay, but knock out that first one. And it does two things. First of all, it frees up more money to allocate to the rest of them. But secondly, it's like throwing the first punch in a boxing match and having your opponent go down to the mat. Hey, dang, I can do this. And so you get a jolt of energy, and there's nothing, they say nothing succeeds like success. So, and we want you to be successful, and we can show you how to get there. You have to cooperate. If you don't cooperate, it doesn't work real well, but we can show you what to do and how to do it. And then you can do it. You wouldn't be the first one on earth to get out of debt, turn things around, and be motivated to really have a very successful life. And then it's good if you have the cash flow to use the plan to the maximum. Now, what does that mean? Well, that just simply means this. Although when you borrow money from your plan to buy a car, let's say, as an example, you're not going to get a payment book where you have to make the payments every month. You're not going to get a bill in the mail every month that where you have to send in a check, but you should have the cash flow to pay yourself back. Because if you just take the money out of this account and you never pay it back, that's not going to work. There is no, that I'm aware of, but there's no legal way of doing it. There are several illegal ways of removing money from the bank. But those things never end well. I've seen the movies, trust me, it doesn't work well. So this is a good system, again, if you work it. And we can show you how to work it and do it in such a way that you can get the maximum benefit out of it without tipping over the canoe, so to speak. So what's next? So if you're interested in this concept, if this sounds exciting to you, then I would suggest you book a discovery meeting. And at that time, we can sit down and talk with you. I can, Amber can do it. We can find out, is this appropriate for you? Is it a good fit for you? Can you qualify? Again, if you're throwing sticks of dynamite on the weekend for fun, you're probably not going to qualify. If you're pumping your heart by hand, you're probably not going to qualify. So, but maybe somebody in your family could qualify,
Yes.
and you can still use the account, but just set it up in a different way. So there's ways we can work with you to make it work. And then you want to learn the basics, learn how it works, and learn how to work it. The best tool in the world, if you don't know how to use it, I've heard all the stories, guys buy these elaborate saws and then the next thing you know, they're going to the hospital and their wife is carrying their thumb or one of their fingers in a bowl of ice. We don't want that. We want you to learn how it works. We want you to learn how to work it. And then we want you to put it to work. If you do that, then you're going to enjoy the benefits. You're going to become comfortable. You're going to experience the benefits. You're going to become a raving, ardent fan. And that's what we want you to be. We want you to have a good experience so that you become a fan and tell others how you made this thing work and how it's working for you. We want you to have a good experience. So action steps now, you can call EPS Wealth Management. We have a local number is 623-537-3657. If you're out of state, you can call 1-800-4 and then spell out my name, last name, Tewalt. That's turtle, elephant, wallaby, alligator, lion, turtle on the keyboard. I'm surprised I actually got that said without a miss. You spell it out on the keyboard, and that'll get you through on our 800 number. And then get on our calendar, get the details.
Get on the calendar, you set up an appointment. It's a free consultation, no obligation.
Be excited about doing that.
Yeah. And this is awesome. I learned so
Amber,
much.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're here for you. And Amber is a licensed insurance professional. I'm a CFP, certified financial planner, also a licensed insurance professional. We are here to serve you, and this is a great idea for some of you. So come on in and find out if it is the right fit, because if it is, you're going to love it.
Well,
Amber,
thank you so much. I appreciate your time today and education as always. I appreciate you very much, and I look forward to working with our new clients. In the early 1900s, like in 1920s, 30s, with $20, you used to be able to buy an entire men's suit. You could get the handkerchief, the tie, the vest, the jacket, the pants, the belt, everything. And you could also buy that with a piece of gold. Now, in today's standards, you can't buy much with $20. Maybe a tie, maybe that's it. You could not even come close to an entire men's suit with a $20 bill. However, if you still had a piece of gold, you could still buy an entire men's suit with that piece of gold. You see, silver and gold have intrinsic value, and it's had intrinsic value since the beginning of time. It's always been a currency around since the existence of man, gold and silver. So why not protect your investments and protect your earning power by owning some gold and silver? And the easiest way to do that is contacting Jim Tewalt at EPSwealthmanagement.com. That's Edward Paul Sam, wealthmanagement.com, EPSwealthmanagement.com. Give him a call and let him know you'd like to have some tangible assets in your portfolio. You'd like to have some gold and silver, and he can help you do that. So if you're ready to protect yourself and protect your investments, then go ahead and give Jim Tewalt a call, whom you've seen on our program at EPSwealthmanagement.com. Let him know Amber May sent you.
Hey, this is Dr. John Diamond from America Unhinged. You are watching The Amber May Show.
Are you looking for a doctor you can trust? Then look no farther than Dr. Meehan, and you can find him at meehanmd.com. That's MEEHAN as in Nancy, MD.com for all your healthcare, supplemental, and telemed needs. And you know what my family did? We shopped at his supplemental store and we purchased these two items to help support our gut health. These are supporting our gut health because you know what? The gut health is so important Our immune system is in the gut. Our serotonin's made in the gut. And so the most Americans, if you know, have a leaky gut. So if you're looking to improve your health, whether you're improving your gut health or your immune system, or you just have something that you need to talk to a physician about, go to mehanmd.com. That's MEEHAN as in Nancy, MD.com. And while you're there, make sure you use the promo code AMBER so you can save some money. And while you're at the website, make sure you set up your telemed appointment and then check out all his supplements that he offers as well. That's mehanmd.com. Use promo code AMBER at checkout. Thank you for joining us today on The Amber May Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if there's someone that came to mind, please share this episode with them. Please follow us on Telegram at The Amber May Show, True Social Amber May, Frank Socially Amber May, or Clout Hub. I can't wait to see you next time on The Amber May Show.